running form, gait, biomechanics, stride. Whatever you want to call it, that's your business. But one thing that some runners spend a lot of time thinking about is their running form. And for good reason, because running form is one of those things that is kind of important, because if you get it right, it can do a lot to help you reduce your risk of injury and make you more efficient as a runner. But if you do it wrong, it can definitely increase your chances of getting injured and or make you work harder to cover the same distance, which makes you less efficient, which isn't exactly ideal. So when it comes to running form, trying to improve it, not a bad idea. But then you get to the age-old question of what is ideal running form? How should I improve it? What can I do to get better? What is the ideal? And that, my friends, is an interesting question. Because the fact of the matter is there is no ideal, universal, across the board, best stride, gait, form, whatever you want to call it. Yes, there are good principles, and good principles are good principles. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty, when it comes to fine-tuning exactly what the best form might be, it's going to be different for each person. Why? Because we're all different. None of us are the same. Our body types are different. Our experiences are different. Our strengths, our weaknesses, our amount of flexibility, everything is different from one person to the next. And even if you look at the elites of our sport, there's differences in the stride patterns and in the running form that each of them have. Now, again, principles, yeah, they have a lot of the same principles. But when it comes down to it, there is no universal best form. What there is, however, is your best form and my best form. We each have the ability to improve our form, to become more efficient, to hopefully decrease our risk of dealing with injuries as a result of our sport. But how do we do it? If only there was a book written on this subject. What do you know? There is a book written on this subject. Your Best Stride, written by Jonathan Beverly, published in 2017, is really a great book. Not in that it tries to teach some type of one-size-fits-all ideal running form, because frankly, that doesn't really exist. Instead, what it does, and what the book does very, very well, is lays out some different things that you can do, maybe that you should do, in order to help you improve your running form. Because again, let's not beat around the bush. I don't think any of us probably have perfect form. If you did, why would you be watching a YouTube video on how to improve your running form? So what can you do to improve your running form? What is the book all about? Well, clearly, I'm not gonna read the book for you here on YouTube, but you can go and get yourself a copy, and I strongly encourage it because, like I said, it is simple to understand. You do have to implement the things that are in the book, which, that can get a little bit tricky, but if you put into practice the things that Jonathan Beverly writes about in the book, your stride's gonna improve, period. Because he addresses all kinds of range of motion issues, muscle tightness issues, muscle weakness issues, myths, fictions, facts, the whole 9 yards, with just enough detail to really understand it, but not so much that you get lost in the weeds. So I definitely can't recommend the book enough. If you want a couple of highlights, then here are some of the topics included in the book, Your Best Stride by Jonathan Beverly. Why foot strike doesn't matter as much as some runners think it does. If foot strike isn't that important, what is? What are some of the things that you and I do on a daily basis that actually negatively impact our running form? Some simple advice about running shoes and why changing shoes is not the magic bullet that so many people think it is. A list of form cues that you can think about while running to help check in and correct as you go. And there's definitely some different exercises and stretches and things that you can do on your own to shore up any weak links, to correct any imbalances, and allow your body to do what it was designed to do: run with your best stride. At the end of the day, there are a lot of books out there preaching, teaching, coaching, trying to get you to buy into their style of running. But at the end of the day, you need to do what works best for you, just like I need to do what works best for me. And that's why having your ideal stride, me having my ideal stride, to me just makes the most sense. So instead of buying into some philosophy, you do what works best for you. And as far as I'm concerned, that means getting Jonathan Beverly's book, Your Best Stride, and then implementing the things that are talked about in the book. And I can pretty much guarantee that if you do that, you're going to see your form improve, which is going to help you see your performance improve as well. And if you want to hear more about the book from the man who wrote it himself, check out my podcast interview with Jonathan Beverly from a couple years ago. The link is down below in the description. Check it out, give it a listen. And then if you haven't done so already, get yourself a copy of the book. Come on, get the book already. Like, go, order, close the video, go get the book.